My homie gonna tell me that Stephen A is preparing to run for presidency, and you know what? I got a couple things I want to say about this. Am I saying that Stephen A. Smith should be president? I don't know his policies, but I think now. Am I saying that Stephen A. Smith want to do a better job than what we got going on right now? I think I can do a good job. I think I can put up some good numbers. I think I can put up some good numbers. So if Stephen A. Smith wants to take a chance, go for it. Go hoop. Because if Stephen A. Smith can be able to pivot away from hoops talk, since he has not been talking hoops for the past, I think, 7 years at least, onto the presidential candidate, do a whole press tour, do a whole campaign, and stop in Jersey, stop in Minnesota, go down to Texas for a couple times, pull up to Colorado, and then end on our great state of Minnesota, I would be ecstatic. Come sit right next to me. We could have a debate. Let's hoop. But I will say, ever since we have went out of our way to have a steez-worthy, a presidential aesthetic, presidential vibe-giving, presidential diplomatic way to our presidents, I feel like anyone and everyone can jump on that stage. Go for it. And it's funny because I remember when I was younger, my parents would ask me, what do you want to do when you grow up? What do you want to do? And I would say, I want to be president of the world. They said that's not a thing. So I said, oh, well, fine. Okay, that's cool. I want to be president of the United States. That sounds like a regular dream. I feel, especially as a Nigerian, if I cannot be the president of the world, let me drop it down to America. Let's lower it down a little bit. My policies would be fantastic. Number one, I would force everybody to have a home. That'll be step one. There'll be no homelessness in my great country. No, not in my great country. Every single major city will have extensive urban developments. We will be stacking folks like the way they do overseas. Everything will look like Europe. We will make everybody walkable. And I do not care if you want to stay in your suburbs side of town. Y'all can be over there. But one thing we won't have is having 3-bedroom houses be worth $700,000. And not in my America, baby. Not in my America, baby. Number two, light speed railroads. Run it. We should have it everywhere. There's no reason that I cannot get on a train in Minnesota and find my way down to Texas in anything more than 2 days. Not in my 2026. Not in my 2026. I should be able to go from LAX. I should be able to go from California all the way to New York City in the span of at most a day. 1 day by train. At most, absolutely most, it should be 1 day. Anything more, you're doing a lot. You're doing far too much. And it should be frequent. I should be able to go to every metropolitan area by staying in any other metropolitan area. That would be my other rule. What's some other things I'd make everybody do? I should be able to go to the hospital if I roll my ankle in peace. I should be able to go to the hospital. That's another one. Free healthcare. Everybody getting free healthcare. If we can send it overseas to have free healthcare, we can do it right here. But again, I cannot, because of my parents told me, you were not born here. They will not allow it. It's against the rules. And they said you're not 35 yet, so you gotta ways the way to go. But you know what? Who can? My kids. So get ready, Junior. We got some work to do. We're starting now. We're starting today. Yeah. Oh, I was just thinking about reading history books to my child while they're still in the womb. That'll be, we'll cook. You'll definitely be hearing from George R.R. Martin. Let's hope. One of the things that I've noticed, especially when it comes to people that are an elected official, especially when they are the president, there tends to be a presidential way about them. They're able to handle themselves in a manner that is very beautiful, very admirable. And I feel like we have lost some sauce. It's tough. It's very tough, especially when you look back at previous candidates, because of we used to be a nation that if you were even the slightest bit of weird, you were getting out of here. You are losing your position immediately. I remember back with Obama. Honestly, I think one of the reasons why I'm so harsh is because of I remember the Obama days. I might be old, but I'm not too old. I remember when the biggest problem Obama would bring to us, the biggest problem. Tan suits. Michelle Obama doesn't have straight hair. He was respecting the customs of China. No, he's not a president. He's showing weakness. And now we out here wilding. But hey, back to the video. Back to the video. There needs to be a way that you'd carry yourself to see if you'd be even deemed worthy to have an elected position. So here are a couple of my favorite, biggest quote unquote joke candidates that America has had in multiple places of election. Number 1, Howard Dean. I'm on the younger side, but one thing I will tell you, if you memify yourself back in the early 2000s, you will be remembered. It will haunt you. I remember this guy, Howard Dean. Actually, I'm lying. I don't remember this guy. I remember this. Hey-ya! Oh my God. And there was a lot of news coverage about his elated enjoyment, his celebration of how well he's been doing. And I found it so hilarious because back then I was reading some articles and the consensus that they were trying to push was the idea that he was a little bit weird, a little bit quirky, and that kind of seals his ability to be able to like win a race. That was the overarching theme and narrative. But one of the things about him, he was a very anti-war type of Democrat. He really didn't believe that war was necessary. And that's kind of diminished how many people were willing to back him internally inside the party. And it was so interesting to me that he was summed up as a person that was just being quirky, as someone that wasn't able to control himself in a presidential matter. And that's what ended up losing him the race, at least to the public. That was one of the main things. And next person that really and one of the reasons why I wanted to even highlight this in the first place, we used to be a nation where someone would do something slightly off, and you know what? You're a cook, buddy. Go ahead and go to the back of the bus. I'm not even going to deal with you. And the way that all of America would be willing to just like move on. But now it seems as if like news and the news anchors in and of themselves do not have that power that they once wielded, which is honestly it's a positive, negative, is both folds. And I feel like that's partially why the deterioration of the actual effectiveness of the news and reporting and the way that they're able to disperse ideas and news to the masses. Because I was looking back, especially when it comes to Nixon, for example. Would Watergate matter in 2026? Let me know, because it feels as if we would do maybe 2 rounds. It might get 2 weeks. Especially watching how we're able to deal with the Epstein list right now. How we've literally been bombarded from every which way and direction. And it's like, yeah, bro, I'm not going to lie to you. We can't hold on to this many crazy stuff all at once. I'm so sorry. Yeah, buddy, just go ahead and pack your bags. I don't know what to tell you. Another politician that comes to mind, and not a presidential one, but a mayoral one, Jimmy McKillen. And you might not remember that name. You would remember that face though. Whatcha? Funny enough, I remember him from actually one. I thought he was a meme. First, I thought he was a meme first. I thought it was like an SNL sketch when I first saw this man's face. He looks like a wrestler that has been wrestling for too long and wanted to pivot. You know when an athlete just like randomly finds themselves inside the realms of politics? Like one of those. He looks like he should be on the face of a Quaker Oats bottle. That seems like the vibe that he's giving. He looks like Abraham Lincoln in an alternate universe. He looks like he's been to Alabama for so long. But one of the reasons why I wanted to bring him up in the first place, I find him interesting because his whole sentence was summed up, his whole campaign wrapped up inside one sentence of the rent is too damn high. And keep in mind, this was back in 2010. Fast forward over 15 years later, and we're still having that conversation. And it's frustrating to me because of even with such a very simple idea, this is a thing that anybody can agree on, that rent is too high. Everybody has been putting this on there, something that they want the new administration to take care of. Every single year, every 4 years, somebody is trying to run on that exact point. And to the point where he ends up losing because, well, one, he looks kind of comical. He looks very memeable. He looks very cartoonish, that it doesn't really seem to have like the presidential manner to him. And it feels like Cuomo went, because keep in mind, this was back in 2010 when Cuomo was also running for mayor in New York City. And then you sit back and you think, everyone can agree rent is too high. All he had to do was say, you know what, I'm gonna fix this rent problem. Rent problem doesn't get fixed. Keep in mind, he was already in office. The one that just went against Zoran Mondani and got his back beat in. Yeah, he's been running on that same low rent for a while now. This is, and you know what? Cuomo won over and over and over, and rent has still been obscene on the East Coast. Don't even talk to me about New York City. And the fact that his whole campaign was able to get co-opted in a way that just not only removes not only does it remove accountability from what folks are actually like wanting, but it also sets you this position where, well, I know you want it. I'm gonna tell you that you're gonna get it, and guess what's gonna happen? You ain't getting nothing, bozo. Insane. Insane. And here's some more political possibilities, possible candidates that could have happened but like didn't happen, kind of, sort of. I want to talk about hip hop's interconnectedness with politics. I was thinking about this the other day. It feels as if hip hop specifically seems to skew more Republican than folks tend to recognize. And then I was thinking about it some more. It's more so that hip hop skews more capitalistic than folks tend to give it credit for. And it's interesting to me because of even in the nature of trying to make it as an artist, as a mainstream artist, right? Because you have to not only bet on yourself, but plan everything yourself, set everything else up. And guess what? When it comes to actually feeding yourself at the end of the day, if you don't go and catch what you eat, you will starve, and everybody that you're funding will starve twice as fast. And when you have that type of background where nobody was willing to help you, no government aid, no government systems, you literally had to fend for yourself, because if you could talk about redlining, you could talk about the terrible state that all of the infrastructure is in down south specifically, or you can talk about how the fact that schools are just different because your parents got a house couple doors down instead of in this good neighborhood. Now you're in that terrible neighborhood where the teachers don't even get paid for real. And now it's like, hey, I know that you're just trying to like, make it out and do all that stuff. But now you're kind of set up to believe that the only thing that you can do if you ain't dribbling that ball or holding that mic, just go ahead and find yourself to that school to prison pipeline immediately. And I find that so disheartening, especially when folks, when they do get out of that scenario in those situations, they tend to think, okay, I physically, by brute force, brung me and my family out of this position. So guess what? I am a capitalist. I am a full-blown capitalist. Ain't nothing you say gonna tell me that I should give you any of my goddamn money. Why? So it can be sent to schools that I couldn't go to and help kids that don't look like me or mine? Keep it to yourself. And this got me thinking, because I remember when Waka Flocka said that he wanted to run for president. Wasn't old enough. I think it would be a pretty funny president, beyond the point. But Kanye ended up running. That we were about to live in a whole other alternate universe. Question: would y'all rather have Kanye or Trump? Let's be real. I need some answers. Would gas prices be gas pricing right now if Kanye was in office? If Ye was in office? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Okay, let's talk about his 2020 campaign run. That was a funny time. 2020. It feels as if it feels like I am stuck in this continual genjutsu of life, because of you're telling me I graduate with great honors, get into a good school, get into college, and you know what happens in college? COVID goes and pulls us up and says, hey, shh, I'm gonna need 2 of them. You're gonna be in school for 4 years. I'm gonna need 2.5 of them. That's my rule. You can have it back. You can have the rest back. I don't need all of it. You get, but 2.5. That's me, big player. Next, you graduate, you try and get a job. And then the job market says, hey, we use AI now. Just go ahead, wrap this all up. You know, those tuitions that you was paying? You know how the colleges upped how much they was going to charge you every single year? Now you got a little $100,000 in debt that you got to figure out before someone figures you out. Yeah, I'm so sorry. You're going to still need to pay us for all that. And now you're telling me 1 in every 2 college students now are unemployed? Oh, no. Everyone go be a welder. We need underwater weldsmen, bro. Lock in, bro. Everyone, we gotta do something. But back to Kanye. I remember that press run because I think Kanye might have been the first jump into like truly political adjacent content, because I'm pretty sure Joe Rogan had him before Trump, if I remember that right. It was Elon first, then Trump, and no, Elon, Ye, then Trump, if I'm remembering that right. And then it started this cascading event of literally every politician going on the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse podcast, and it just cooked us all.